Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss the legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedoms and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties, education, and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country. In the courtrooms of America, Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedoms.
More evidence of a radical pro-abortion administration. I'm Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel. Joining me is Matt Barber, vice president of Liberty Counsel Action. Matt, we've talked on this program before about one of our cases involving Susan Pine. Susan Pine is a wonderful lady. She is not a person that commits illegal acts. She's not someone who's a criminal. But she was targeted by the Obama administration and Attorney General Eric Holder's Department of Justice. And I use that term a little bit, obviously lightly in this particular case because there's no justice involved in this case. But they filed suit against her and others around the country under the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances law. And they argued that she was in violation of that law because she walked in front of a vehicle that temporarily stopped. The driver rolled down the window. She gave the driver some literature. The driver then continued on, and that was, in their view, a violation of FACE. They wanted her to be enjoined from these, quote, illegal activities and fined $10,000 for interfering with access to an abortion clinic. Liberty Counsel jumped in, defended her, went to depositions, went to the summary judgment, and the judge ruled in our favor. And in that ruling, the judge chastised the Department of Justice for bringing this case, saying that there was no evidence in this case in the first place to bring. And now, of course, this case we thought was going to be over and done with. And no, the Department of Justice and President Obama authorizing it appealed this case to the Federal Court of Appeals.
Well, Judge Kenneth Rice Camp actually took it a little further. Not only did he chastise the Department of Justice, he basically told them that they were pushing right up to the precipice here of being in a position where sanctions might have been appropriate. And he said he was basically looking to see if he could find – they were so out of line here. This is the entire weight of the United States federal government crashing down in a wholly abusive way on the rights of a single individual citizen here, unheard of. This is there's no other word for it. This is despotism. This is totalitarianism, trying to intimidate this woman and crushing her First Amendment rights to freedom of expression in order to send a shot over the bow of anybody else who might ever dare do such a thing. And the judge in this case didn't mince any words. He recognized this as exactly that. Did the Obama administration listen and take their hat in hand and go home and take their medicine? No, they're defiantly pushing forward despite having been slapped down in such really a humiliating way.
That's right. I mean, this is unprecedented in my over 20 years of litigation in constitutional issues, where you have the Department of Justice and the Attorney General specifically being chastised by a federal judge for bringing a case that lacks evidence and also raises the suspicion of a conspiracy between the Department of Justice and an abortion clinic in this case. And that's what Judge Rice Camp did when he wrote the opinion siding with us and Susan Pine against the Attorney General Eric Holder after 18 months of litigation. He dismissed Holder's lawsuit, which, by the way, Holder versus Pine is the name of the lawsuit, and Holder's failure to present any evidence whatsoever of any wrongdoing.
Yeah.
And also because of the fact that Department of Justice attorneys met with the abortion clinic before this lawsuit was ever filed, before this alleged incident ever occurred, and also for the fact that the abortion clinic has surveillance of that very entrance.
Right.
But lo and behold, they didn't have surveillance at the time when we did the discovery of that particular day. I wonder what happened to the surveillance. If it was something that would be supportive of their position, surely they would have ultimately
Judge Rice
obtained
Camp
that.
he called that obstruction. The fact that they failed to provide video surveillance in order to back up their allegation that she was somehow obstructing the entrance here. And as you point out, he basically said that this smacks of a conspiracy, the fact that they're meeting in advance, planning this all out. And Judge Reiskamp also said this, quote, "The court can only wonder whether this action was the product of a concerted effort between the government and PWC, that's the abortion clinic, which began well before the date of the incident at issue, to quell Ms. Pine's activities rather than to vindicate the rights of those allegedly aggrieved by Ms. Pine's conduct." And to quell Ms. Pine's activities is a very nice way of saying to infringe upon her First Amendment rights.
Yeah, I mean, they allege that she obstructed the entrance. The judge ultimately said there was no evidence that she engaged in obstruction. And in fact, that he questioned why they even brought this case and questioned whether they were in some kind of relationship or conspiracy with this abortion clinic, because they had met, as the judge says, as what you just read, they had met with the abortion facility before the alleged incident, not after. So it wasn't that they met with them to try to get information about what had happened in the past. They met with them before it ever happened. And what so-called happened was a year before she gets sued by the federal government, a year before. So they waited a full year before they actually filed suit. And they met with the abortion clinic before that event actually happened, which, if you think about it, would have been shortly after President Obama and Eric Holder took office. They immediately started meeting with abortion clinics. The Department of Justice officials did. So they're setting this up around the country, this one in West Palm Beach, Florida. And they no doubt must have done that at other abortion clinics as well. We don't have evidence of that, but if they did it in West Palm Beach, they probably did it elsewhere, because they filed this case in West Palm Beach. They filed other very similar cases simultaneously or very close in time around the country. Same kinds of situations. So shortly after coming into office, they're meeting with this abortion clinic. And then they ultimately decide on a particular so-called incident in which Susan walks across the entrance. As I said at the beginning, the car temporarily stops, rolls down the window. She gives it literature. The car proceeds. They're arguing that that was an obstruction of the entrance to the abortion clinic. That's all the evidence they had. They had surveillance of that particular location, but they didn't keep the surveillance. And then they file this lawsuit. We come in, the judge chastised them. We're at the process of trying to work out the attorney's fees that the federal government will have to pay. And then on the very last day that they have to appeal the case, the very last day, they file the appeal. We think that it's over. We get this notice of appeal and then say, what's going on? Who authorized this? In one word, Obama.
Yeah. Went all the way to the top.
This all the way goes to the top. So this just really shows a radicalism with regards to this pro-abortion position that this administration and his attorney general have taken.
And it's just one more example of this president grossly abusing the judicial system to reach a political ends. He's using the judiciary as a political wing and a force to intimidate the rights of what have we often said here? Individual liberties are under attack under this president's administration. Let me ask you real quickly, Matt, to take off your objective hat, put on your subjective hat. What is the Department of Justice and the Obama administration thinking here by doing this? What possibly do they think they can achieve by pushing forward with this?
Well, who knows what they're thinking, but I would say that they are so committed to abortion and to their constituencies like Planned Parenthood and other abortion clinics, that they will it's like a rabid dog and they will not let this bone go.
Yeah.
They were chastised. It's in print. They don't like the fact that they were chastised. They don't like the fact that they lost. They don't like the fact that they were unable to intimidate this pro-lifer. They don't like the fact that she's still out there saving babies and giving information of alternatives to abortion. And because they're so wrapped up in their abortion ideology, they can't let this go. And so they're trying to have another shot at this, and hopefully they're thinking they can get this overturned. We're going to be preparing our briefs and then we'll argue this later this year. We'll keep you informed of this case. Give us a call at Liberty Counsel. Pray for this case and pray for the ministry of Liberty Counsel. We're on the front lines of life and family and religious freedom all over the country. Without your prayers and financial support, we wouldn't be able to do what we're able to do in this particular case. Susan Pine would have been intimidated by the Department of Justice, the federal government, if we weren't able to step in. We couldn't step in without your prayers and particularly without your financial support. Go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org, and sign up for the Liberator, the Liberty Alert email, and give an online credit card contribution right there at LC's website. Also, sign up for The Awakening 2012, April 20, Friday night, and 21 in Orlando, Florida. Go to Liberty Counsel's website to sign up for that important event in April.
You have been listening to Matt Staver of Liberty Counsel. We hope that we have motivated you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedoms. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email updates. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.